The photo from Venice. Years ago, when I was a small little girl, I loved to go to my grandparents' house. I used to sit on the carpet in the living room and listen to my grandma tell me stories. My favorite one was the one of a young couple she had once met. Once upon a time, many years ago, there was a young girl of 17 who loved a boy who was the same age. However, she was too shy to dare to approach him or talk to him, so she thought they would never get to know each other the way she wanted to. They both had different families and friends. In fact, they were very different themselves. She had a strong character. She was a chatterbox and a free spirit, whereas he was very kind, gentle, outgoing, and a real go-getter. Months later, the village where they lived was celebrating its traditional parties at the end of the summer. They had both come along with their friends. Everybody was happy, singing, dancing, and enjoying themselves. Later on, the girl was ready to leave when suddenly the young boy with piercing green eyes held her hand and asked her for a dance. She would have never imagined that moment could come, and yet it did. There they were, late at night, dancing in the center of the village's square, staring at each other as if they had been alone in the entire world. The young boy looked the girl in the eyes for a moment, and when she smiled shyly, he realized he would never want to dance with anybody apart from her for the rest of his life. Years later, that same boy and that same girl had grown into a handsome young man and a beautiful young woman. They were visiting, hand in hand, the city of Venice in their honeymoon. It was their last day there, and the young man took his charming wife into a promenade on a gondola. At one moment, when they were looking at each other and laughing at something the young woman had said, an old man on a gondola close by was deeply moved by the tenderness of the moment. He couldn't help it, and took a picture of the couple. When they got off the gondolas, he ran after them to give them the picture he had taken. The couple was extremely grateful for the gift, for it was their first picture as husband and wife. They kept it, framed it, and hung it to a wall in their home, where it would remain forever. When my grandma finished her story, it was time for me to go home. I left the house, but before getting in my dad's car, I turned around to see how my granddad took my grandma's hand and started dancing slowly in the living room, staring at each other next to a picture on the wall of a young smiling couple in Venice. At that moment, I did not understand, but now I know my grandparents' love story is the most ideal one I will ever get to hear of.